You lucky dogs, you get 2 videos in one day. And speaking of dogs, this is my dog, Autumn. We just went for a swim, so you might hear her licking herself in the background as she gets the water off her. Let's start driving. All right, so big, vast topic for conversation today, throws. What a beast of a topic here, and I'm going to try to tackle it. I think I have my thoughts organized on this, but you're going to have to forgive me if I do the occasional uhs and other stutters as I regather my thoughts throughout it. So, throws, big, like I said, big topic here, and have been part of the game since day one, and have not caused a problem until recently. Yes, with the advent of online gaming, the expectation to be able to play online, throws, and more specifically their break windows have created some issues. And because of that, I was expecting some more dramatic changes to throws in Tekken 8. I mean, like, vastly dramatic changes to throws in Tekken 8. And this didn't happen. So much like my Punish Hit video, which just came out, this is going to be a video about something that I think was a missed opportunity, something that I thought for sure they were going to do it, and they just they didn't pull the trigger. They didn't do it. So that's what we're going to talk about. So a little history lesson. We're going to go way back in time, at least to my first fighting game experience, Street Fighter 2. And Street Fighter 2 had throws in it, of course, and they were critical because in that game you could duck block everything other than jump attacks, but those were obviously jump attacks, plenty of time to react, so there's no mix-up there. So you could just sit there and turtle up, go totally in the shell, and no one could break you out of that shell in any way, shape, or form other than throws, and the minute amount of chip damage that Special Moves did on block. So throws were critical back in those days, and they did a shit ton of damage. And they were unbreakable, they were unblockable, so the only caveat to them was that you had to get range 0, and they had to be turtled up hard, and then you could get the throw. Great payoff for it, like I said, tons of damage on that, and so that's the way that Street Fighter handled the issue of turtling, was by integrating throws. And it's pretty much a standard in the genre from then, actually from even before then, but it's basically a standard in the genre for time immemorial. You weren't a fighting game if you didn't have throws in there. But Tekken has never suffered from the issue of breaking turtles. We as Tekken players know full well that there are mid-low mix-ups all over the place in this game. So Tekken never needed to integrate throws into its system. It just chose to because their system was vast and it could easily engulf that system mechanic, and it wasn't an issue. And like I said, until most recently, where the break windows are now problematic for online gaming, where if you have even a slightly bad connection, those break windows get to be a little bit hairy, and because of that, we keep seeing a trend towards larger and larger break windows for throws, and because of that, throws becoming less reliable as an option, and with that, grapplers become less and less of an option. So we're losing identity here. We're losing diversity in our roster here. Grapplers are an archetype in fighting games that need to be. So to lose that over time, I mean, you look at Tekken 7, you look at King, not a bad character, but is he a wrestler? Is he grabbing folk? No, he ain't really grabbing folk, except for on a rare occasion. I mean, if you go back to Tag 1, even as more recently as Tekken 5, I mean, instant shining wizards, giant throws, tombstones, all over the place. It was a throw bonanza. So grapplers were great and iconic element of Tekken up until just recently. So because of this, I was expecting them to go down one of two avenues with throws in Tekken 8, and yet neither was chosen, and that may be fine. We don't know yet. It's still very well in the beta. There's still much left to explore. They have done things to increase the tracking of throws, and they've also done things to make it so that they can hit on counter hits so that they're unbreakable during those windows, which is also very nice. So grapplers are getting some love in Tekken 8, but I guess I was expecting a more crazy choice for that, and maybe they felt with, you know, a new meter being added, maybe they felt with the heat system being added that they were moving people's cheese too much. The cheese was getting moved, and the old heads were already you know, they're risking pissing off the old heads as it was with all this new incursions. Maybe they felt it's too much. We can't change throws. They're a pillar of this game. There's enough change. Too much change. We're gonna scare away all our old heads, so they can't possibly do it. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. But anyways, my thoughts on how they could have approached the throw issue in Tekken 8. Close these windows. Get some reverb. Kind of obnoxious. Okay. So first approach that I was thinking was to basically approach throws the way you do lows, and by that I mean that we have a variety of lows. We've got low pokes that do low damage, and we've got large lows that do you know, sweep you off your legs and lead to a big juggle, or at least do a ton of damage, or a big okie situation. Basically, you have low risk, low reward lows, and you have high risk, high reward lows, and you've got a wealth of options in between there. And I thought, well, let's do that with throws, right? What about a 12, or let's say a 16 frame throw? It's a high that does 10 damage, and it's unblockable, and it has no break window. Is that a problem? Is that a problem move? I don't think. I meant adding into that, it doesn't knock you down. It doesn't lead to okie situations. It just does 10 damage-ish, and then you're left standing, and the throwers may be left with a couple frames of advantage, and that's it. That's it. It's basically just like an unblockable high that you know, just leaves you some frames afterwards and leaves the opponent standing afterwards. That wouldn't be a problem in Tekken any more than a low with that same description would be a problem in Tekken. So, and then you could add, you know, a wealth of variety in between this. You could have very high or very slow unblockable highs that do tons of damage. Hey, we already have that. King's Lariat. That's a slow unblockable high that does a large amount of damage. Obviously, it's a ridiculous example. It's going to the other end of the extreme there, but you can see how this is an option for them, and it just basically have like a little built-in throw animation to make you feel like, yeah, you did something cool there. But you know, if it was a low risk one, by that I mean be fast, and it would have a small break window that just wouldn't do a lot of damage. And if it was something that was a little more risky, then something that was a little more obvious to duck on reaction, or had a large break window, or maybe even had multiple buttons that you could hit to break said throw, you know, basically easy to get away from. Then if it actually did hit, then you get a great reward out of it. And so I think that's would be a fine option, but I could see why maybe they didn't go that route. Because while it solves the problem, there's no identity there, right? If they function like lows too much, they're functionally lows. They just happen to be high. High unblockable highs. So I could see why they didn't go that route, because you're just washing out all the fun from the system, and so you don't want to solve a problem by just reducing the quality of the game. So I'd see why they didn't go that. It'd be an easy answer, but I could see why they didn't go down there. The second direction that I thought they would go down, but didn't, and again, this one has a problem as well, which I'll address, is would be to get rid of throws as we know them, and to focus entirely on hit throws. For those of you who don't know what a hit throw is, imagine Ganryu's forward 2. Takes that big meaty palm, hits you right in the side, right underneath the armpit there, and if it hits on counter hit, it goes straight into the hug. And from the hug, he's got 3 options. He can hit 1, and he slams you to the ground, does a decent amount of damage, but you can break out by hitting 1. Or Ganryu can hit 2, and he slams you to the ground in a different way, and does a good amount of damage, but you can break out of it by hitting 2. Or he can throw you up in the air and lead to a juggle state by hitting both punches, and you can break out of that by hitting both punches. This would be a much bigger overhaul, but I could still imagine a world where standard throws were gone and everything was a hit throw. I mean, this isn't really that radical as it sounds, because we already have a lot of hit throws in this. Nina's spider knee, the aforementioned Ganryu forward 2, his down both punches. Dragunov's got some moves that do it. I forget the notation because no one ever uses them. So they're already there. It would just be to elaborate on that further. This is... So it would take a big overhaul to do, but I really think there's more to this than just scoffing and brushing it away. Because I could easily imagine things like King's forward neutral 2, the low where he kind of hits you in the leg there. Right now, if it hits on counter hit, he transitions into an automatic lariat. What if instead, same move, if it hits you on counter hit, it leads to a thing where he grabs you by the leg, and then similar to Ganryu, you've got some options. You can hit 1 and you do giant swing, or you could hit 2 and you could do the link throw where you wrestles your leg around and eventually gets to the King's Bridge option. That'd be cool. I'll be down for that. Or give him the mid kick that he has right now. I forget the notation, but if it hits, you can just frame to go into a stunner. So that's a what if, same gut kick, but if it lands on counter hit, he goes into grapple animation similar to the hug, and when that happens, he has a couple options. One option would be he could do the muscle buster, and by hitting both punches. Hits you in the gut, you double over, you hit both punches. The King player, they can break it by hitting both punches, but if they don't, he goes into the muscle buster. Or maybe a different... Oh, we got an ambulance. All right. But another option would be hits you in the gut, you as a King player, you hit 2, the opponent fails to hit 2 to break it, he gets to do a suplex, standing vertical suplex. Just examples. Another one, maybe hit to 1, and if they don't hit 1 to break it, he does the pedigree. So this would be an option, or this would just be, just spitballing ideas here, but I could imagine a Tekken world where all standard throws are gone and you're instead left with these hit throws all sprinkled all throughout the game, and some characters would have some more than others. Imagine like Asuka's reversal, for instance. She does her little stance, and if she catches your attack, she elbows you in the head, and there's a small window, maybe even a slowdown moment where the game slows down. We love our slowdowns, and she's got some options out of it. 1, 2, both punches, that sort of thing. And she can transition into one of 3 different throws, not off of a hit, but out of her reversal. Another neat avenue to go down there. So, and again, they'd be breakable. And I thought it'd be even, I'm getting kind of nerding out a little bit here. So I thought it'd be even cooler is after, there'd be a window of time where you both get to pick your button, and then it would show you like after the window was over, what each one of you hit. That way there'd be no, oh man, I hit that, I broke that, this game's bullshit. And be like, no, it clearly shows you did not break that. You hit 2 and you were supposed to hit 1. Sorry, you did. You in fact did not break that. Personally, I would love to see that. I would love to see the failed break window, failed breaks, be shown for all to see in glaring embarrassment. But anyways, so yeah, that's a world I could definitely envision with hit throws taking over and completely eradicating standard throws as we know them, because now it's not, there's not a it's not a skill check anymore. And that's important in an era where lag and online gaming narrows or grows that window for breaking. Skill check windows are problematic. Unless not all of us get perfect gaming connection. Some of us get a little bit of lag, and this is one would be a way to get around that. The problem, why is this wonderful world of hit throws maybe not a great suggestion? And this comes down to a broader subject of unseeable mix-ups. So in the case of Ganryu's forward for 2 hitting you on counter hit, puts you into the hug, you can't tell what button he's hitting. There is no reactability to this. It is a completely blind mix-up to it, and some people really hate that. I mean, you might as well, to them, it's like, you might as well just flip a coin. You might as well play paper, rock, scissors if that's all you want out of your game. If there's not a skill window to it, then it's just that's just luck. 50-50s or 33-33-33s, and people really hate that to some extent. Me personally, I don't mind it, because I think there's opportunities to still make it work for character design and character specialization. Example, non-grappler characters. Let's pick Steve. He's traditionally, he's not a grappler guy. Boxers, they don't grapple. They may hug a little, maybe a little dirty boxing, a little stuff. But for the most part, boxers aren't grapplers. They don't grapple in on there. So maybe his moves, when they transition to that, and maybe he only has very few that do transition into a throw state, there's only 2 options, 1 or 2, and so it's literally just a 50-50, and so you have just as much chance of breaking it as you have of not breaking it. Well, characters that are more designed to be grapplers, let's take King, the ultimate grappler. If he gets you into a throw state, there could be 4, 5 options out of it, in which case your chances of successfully breaking it goes down to 25% or 20% if there's 4 or 5 options respectively. And so I still think there would be cool windows cool avenues there for character design, where they could really make certain characters shine as grappler heavy by having a wealth of options out of these throw states, so your chances of breaking out of them very unlikely, while non-grappler characters, 50-50 chance, and maybe even the payoff for it isn't even that good, kind of like going back to what we were talking about with the first idea, with having more throw variety. Maybe Steve, if he gets you in the the boxer clinch there, it's a 50-50, it's a 1 or 2. If you guess right, you break out. If you guess wrong, he gets 15 damage, and it's frame neutral, and you're left standing afterwards. So it's nice, you get an extra 15, but it's not huge. It's just a little sprinkle, a little spice in there for him. Well, King would be much more critical, where like maybe there's 4 different break options. The 2 option is a standing vertical suplex that does 20 damage, and it has okay Oki, while the 1 option is a pedigree that does 50 damage and has insane Oki options. And now there's a mind game. Like, clearly the king wants to do the pedigree because that's the better one, but I know that he knows that I want that, so he's not going to do it. He's going to go for the 2 option, but he knows that I know that he knows that he's going to go for that, so I'm going to hit the 2 instead. And you get into a deep meta there of going back and forth. Is this video gonna be too dark? I'm losing my son here. Anyways, so yeah, thoughts on throws. Big topic. That's where some ideas that I thought they were gonna go into with Tekken 8. They didn't. So and that's okay. Maybe Tekken 9, maybe not, maybe never. Maybe I'll never get my way. Maybe I'll just never get it. And that's maybe for the best. I would be a cruel, cruel god. Anyways, that was my thoughts. Ending!